Hi guys, welcome to our flow code for PIC tutorials for absolute beginner series. This is tutorial 16, DC motor speed control. In the previous tutorial, we learned that you cannot connect a DC motor directly to the pins of the PIC microcontroller, as a motor requires more current and voltage that a microcontroller pins will be able to provide. A pin of a PIC microcontroller can supply up to 25 milliamp at usually 5 volt. In the previous tutorial, we learned that there are some interfacing techniques that can be used. We could use an H-bridge constructed with 4 MOSFET transistors, or we can use some motor controller chips like the L293D that we're going to use in this tutorial. To use this chip is fairly simple, as we have learned in the previous tutorial. It can control 2 motors independently. The first motor can be connected to output 1 and 2, and the second motor to output 3 and 4. The Vs is the supply voltage of the motor. Because we are using a 12 volt motor, we're going to connect the Vs to 12 volt. The VSS is the supply of the chip itself. In this case, we're going to connect it to 5 volt. The enable bits are used to enable the chip. If we connect the enable one, it's going to enable the first driver because we are connecting the first motor to the first driver. And if we need to connect the second motor, then we'll have to enable the EN2 as well. The IN1 and IN2, these are the control pins of the chip. If we want to rotate the motor in clockwise direction, then we'll have to supply a 1 to IN1 and a 0 to IN2. If you want to reverse the direction, then we're going to supply a 0 to IN1 and a 1 to IN2. And if we send zeros to both IN1 and IN2, the motor will stop. The same as well if we supply a 1 to both IN1 and IN2. So basically that's how you can control this chip. But in real life application, turning a motor in clockwise or anti-clockwise directions or turning it off is not always all that is required. The speed of the rotation has to be controlled as well. As this is a DC motor, by changing the voltage across it will change its speed. If we supply less than 12 volt, then the speed is going to be less. And if we increase the voltage, then the speed is going to increase as well. The simplest method that can come into our mind is to use a variable resistor and connect the motor across this variable resistor. By changing the voltage across the resistor, the speed of the motor could be changed in this way. This is the simplest technique, but it's got many disadvantages. The first disadvantage that we can think of, as the motor is not a resistive load, it is an inductive load. It needs more power during startup than in running state. And it draws more current also when a mechanical load is applied to the motor shaft. So a simple resistor is not going to work. The second problem, if we connect a resistor, it's going to drop excess energy as heat. So this will be a huge loss. And lastly, as the motor requires more current, so the resistor with higher power rating are required to drop the excess energy. So this is clear that you cannot use a simple resistor to change the speed of a motor. There are other techniques that can be used. The simplest technique that we're going to discuss in this tutorial is to use the pulse width modulation signal. The pulse width modulation, as we have learned in the pulse width modulation tutorial, is a technique of controlling the amount of power delivered to an electronic load by switching on and off a digital signal. The fraction of the period for which the signal is on to the total period is known as the duty cycle. So by changing this duty cycle of the signal, the amount of energy transferred to the device can be varied. We have modified our circuit diagram a little bit compared to our previous tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to use the PIC 45K22, but any PIC with at least one analog and one pulse width modulation channel can be used as well. We're going to use the CCP1. So instead of connecting our enable pin directly to 5 volt so that we can have one constant speed, we're going to connect it to our pulse width modulation 1, which is on pin RC2. You can see this pin can also have the CCP1 function, which is capture, compare, and pulse width modulation 1. A variable resistor is connected to analog channel 0. By changing the resistance of this variable resistor, The duty cycle will be changed as well, which in turn will also change the speed of the motor. Let us start a new project in Flowcode, new. We're gonna use the PIC 18F45K22. Build project options. We're gonna use an external 8 MHz crystal oscillator. So here we're gonna use HS medium 4 to 16 MHz. We're gonna disable the PLL, disable the watchdog timer, and we're gonna disable the extended instruction. Okay, you're gonna need two components. The first one is gonna be our path width modulation. We're gonna add it to a system panel. The second component is gonna be our ADC. We're gonna use this potentiometer. Okay, view chip. If you want to see your chip, we're gonna connect our path width modulation component to channel 1. This is gonna be on pin RC2. This PIC has got 5 channels. The channel 2 is on pin RC1. Channel 3 is on E0. Channel 4 is on D1. And channel 5 is on E2. We're gonna select channel 1. The prescaler, we're gonna use 4 to give us a frequency of 1.9 kHz. And our analog component, we're gonna leave the default connection. We're gonna connect to analog channel 0, which is gonna be on RA0. The VREF is gonna be 500, which is gonna give us a voltage of 5 volt reference. V reference option is gonna be VDD, and the rest is gonna be on their default values. The first thing, we're gonna enable our path width modulation. Path width enable. Then we're gonna turn our motor clockwise. We're gonna send a 1 to in 1. Now send a 1. As we have learned from the previous tutorial, if we send a 1 to in 1 and a 0 to in 2, the motor is gonna rotate clockwise. If we want to reverse the rotation, then we're gonna send a 0 to in 1 and a 1 to in 2. And in our while 1 loop, we're gonna read the analog value from our analog channel 0. We're gonna get a byte value and return it into a variable. So we're gonna create a new variable, add new. It's gonna be a byte variable. We're gonna name it ADC read. Okay, so we're gonna return it in this variable. Okay, the next thing, we're gonna change our duty cycle. Path width set duty cycle with the value read from our analog channel. Okay, and basically that's all, guys. We're gonna need another short delay. Let's use 10 milliseconds. And after this delay, the process is gonna start again continuously. Run. You see, we are sending a 1 to RB0. This is gonna be connected to in 1 over motor controller, and our potentiometer is connected to analog channel 0. So by rotating our potentiometer, we are changing the duty cycle of our pulse width modulation, which in turn is gonna change the speed of our motor. Let us compile our code. Let us save it first. Gonna name it motor speed control. Compile to hex. Finish, close. Let us go to our Proteus simulation. Run. You can see our motor, it's rotating at 50% duty cycle. If I turn the potentiometer, the speed of the motor is changing accordingly, increasing the duty cycle to 100%. You can see the motor is rotating at full speed. If I decrease the duty cycle, the speed of the motor is decreasing accordingly until it's rotating really slowly. Let us measure our duty cycle with an oscilloscope. That's the virtual instrument. Gonna select an oscilloscope. We're gonna connect channel A to our pulse width modulation output. Run. Let's set our oscilloscope so that we can be able to see properly. Okay. You can see the motor is rotating slowly. I'm going to increase the value of the duty cycle. You can see it increasing. It's more or less 50%, and the motor speed is changing as well. I'm going to increase to full speed. The speed is increasing as well. And at 100% duty cycle, the motor is also rotating at full speed. This is basically how you can control the speed of a DC motor with pulse width modulation. Thank you guys for watching this tutorial, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that you can receive more tutorials in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Thank you.